This appliance is called the EM Hoserack. It is designed to keep a coiled hose in a ready and functional configuration until the hose is fully charged with the proper water pressure. It is a simple but quick and less physical operation for the firefighter to operate on the fire ground. There is less chasing of kinks and a quicker time in advancing the line, cutting down fatigue levels, and having more energy for actual firefighting. The rack can be designed to handle different size hose and lengths. As you can see in the video, in the middle bed we have the EM Hoserack with coiled 1 3/4 hose. To the left and to the right we have 1 3/4 hose setup in a horseshoe configuration. If you look closely, the horseshoe setup has sharp creases in the folds, where the EM Hoserack has nicely rounded, non-creasing ends, extending the life of the hose. Here we have a handle with a locking mechanism. Not shown here is a handle with a built-in locking mechanism. For safety reasons, the bottom rail of the rack enables a firefighter to pull the rack easily off the bed without stepping onto the back step, preventing possible ankle or leg injuries. The EM Hoserack takes less manning to get a line in operation, allowing other firefighters to do other functions. The rack should be placed in front of fire building, straps taken off, and firefighter signals to charge hose line with water. The firefighter does not have to hold the line when it is charged. The line does not have to be handled by a firefighter until after the hose has been charged and not during the line charge. The EM Hoserack gives you the ability to charge more than one line at the same time. When a second engine arrives, the line will be ready for use and can save great time. When the line is charged with proper pressure, the firefighter can unlock the top section, which will break away, and then proceed to slide out the bottom rail. There is no chasing of kinks, which eliminates the extra time and effort it takes while using traditional hose stretchers. Opening and closing the nozzle to let out air will eliminate any kinks. A coiled line is a more desirable way to deploy an attack line. However, without the rack, it is unreliable due to inconsistent spacing and line placement. The hose can twist and reverse itself, coming off the hose bed, placing the nozzle underneath. The coil system tends to propel itself towards the fire, where other methods have firefighters handling a more resistant hose line, adding to fatigue and slowing down the process. It only takes 2 people to set up the rack. This particular setup was designed for a 7-foot hose bed. The EM rack will work for larger and smaller beds as well. When being coiled back into the rack, the spacing of the coiled hose in the rack must be equal at the opposite end. Prior to setup, you must establish length of hose bed. When you establish proper spacing, it is best to mark the rack side of the hose for future setup. Straps will be placed so all the folds are secured tightly. Using the EM rack is the quickest, most efficient method for firefighters to move hose around the fire ground. Using the EM Hoserack, there is virtually no chasing of kinks. This allows for quicker time in advancing a line, cutting down firefighter fatigue, and less manpower. This appliance also allows for safer deployment off the rig, utilizes the coil system to its fullest, can be manufactured to fit any size hose and bed, and is currently being redesigned to reinvent the high-rise pack.